Alright, I'm sure many of you have already seen the latest announcements by Capcom and Square Enix regarding the collaboration between Monster Hunter Wilds and Final Fantasy XIV. With Wilds, we'll be encountering the technical marvel that is Omega, a robotic character that can be fought as a raid boss within Final Fantasy XIV. For the 14 players, we'll be getting an extinct monster reborn to serve a foregone civilization, the Guardian Arkveld. Despite their drastic difference in form and function, both characters have a lot more in common than one would think, and in this video, we're going to quickly cover what exactly these two share with one another that makes their crossover between the two worlds all the more special for both series. First, let's take a look at what Omega is based on my limited knowledge of the lore within Final Fantasy XIV. According to what we've learned regarding the history of Omega, this individual was originally created by an advanced race that augmented their bodies to shed their frail biological forms and replace them with robust technical bodies, allowing them to resist being conquered and eventually reigning supreme on their planet. When civil war broke out within the advanced race, the winning faction would eventually conquer other planets, and Omega would be their supreme weapon to fight against their deadliest adversaries. When conquering one particular planet, one of its inhabitants escaped and Omega gave chase, eventually crash landing in Eorzea and seizing all functions. As millennia passed, Omega would remain dormant until it was awakened by an ancient empire that would use it as a weapon against beings known as primals. Eventually, this empire would fade and Omega would cease functions once more, until recent events in Eorzea would once again awaken this technological marvel. So now that we know a little bit more about Omega, let's go ahead and cover what makes Omega similar to its collaborative partner, the Guardian Arkveld. First of all, both characters are considered to be a form of artificial being. Since Omega was created for war, it has little to no emotion, instead being equipped with a highly advanced artificial intelligence to complement its arsenal of deadly weaponry, making it both an effective and devastating weapon to be utilized by both the advanced alien race it originated from, as well as the ancient empire that eventually found it in Eorzea. Having experienced the history of the world it currently resides in shows the antiquated characteristics of this robotic entity. Guardian Arkveld is similarly created for the purposes of war, acting as a weapon to defend its creators from any adversary they may encounter. The creature is known as a construct, and its origins is based on an extinct species of flying wyverns known as Arkveld. Since constructs are artificial life powered through the wilt generated by the Dragon Torch, the Guardian Arkveld doesn't need to reproduce or consume food to sustain itself, relying solely on wilt for sustenance. And due to being an artificial creature, it can be replicated by the ancient civilization to continuously serve its purpose. With the template of the construct being based on an extinct species, the monster's biology likely existed even before the ancient civilization that created it, demonstrating the prehistoric lineage of the bioorganic weapon. So now we can see that both individuals are artificial beings with the purpose of being weaponized for war. Outside of these two details, both Omega and Guardian Arkveld were also created and utilized by highly advanced ancient civilizations, further creating a connection between the two man-made constructs. With both the world of Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy XIV covering how ancient races were more advanced compared to modern times, these two monsters are the perfect candidates to further create the connection between the two titles, linking the advanced civilizations that once prospered between the two worlds through the crossover happening in both titles. Now I'm sure many hunters will now be asking the main question regarding Omega's presence in the Forbidden Lands. Is this a canon event? The answer? It's plausible. In one of my more divisive videos, I covered how one particular dragon was said to be capable of traversing between different realms and universes through strange distortions found within different regions. According to this particular excerpt, it's also possible that these distortions are also connected to humans to some degree, possibly hinting at how the ancient civilization may have explored ways to traverse different realities through their advanced technology. Given that we have seen another creature from Eorzea cross over into a different continent in the world of Monster Hunter, It's possible that these ancient yet advanced technology found between the two worlds have somehow connected them to one another, thereby allowing different creatures to cross over between the two realms. And I'm sure the Warriors of Light may also ask the same question regarding this collaboration. Is the Guardian Arkveld and maybe even the Rathalos canon to 14? To be honest, it's hard for me to fully determine given my lack of knowledge on 14's lore to share my overall thoughts. Having said this, however, based on what little I know, 14's setting revolves around a prime universe with 13 reflections, alternate realities based on the prime reality known as the Source. If I understand the game's setting well enough, the 13 reflections are replicas of the original world, which means that if an event happens in the Source, it may also occur in one of the reflections and perhaps be a more prominent event. And it's possible that because the crossover is happening in the Prime Universe, there may be a reflection where Monster Hunter is a common scenario compared to what we see in the main setting, thus giving the plausibility that these crossovers are canon because it's also reflected in one of the 13 realities. So to finalize this video, the crossing of both Omega and Guardian Arkveld between the two titles may have been more than just a random choice by Capcom and Square Enix for their respective games. It's possible that they ran with the theme of artificial constructs created by advanced ancient civilizations and demonstrating how each world is possibly connected to one another through ancient technology, further linking the world of Monster Hunter to that of Final Fantasy XIV. Whether these events are actually canon or not remains to be seen. But given how both titles cover the idea of alternate realities, with Monster Hunter being more subtle compared to Final Fantasy XIV, it definitely begs the question whether or not other crossovers in Monster Hunter are potentially canon. And that's pretty much it for this video covering the crossover characters for Monster Hunter Wilds and Final Fantasy XIV, focusing mainly on their similarities and what makes them the perfect crossover characters for both titles. What do you think about Omega in Wilds and Guardian Arkveld in 14? Let us know in the comments below your thoughts and opinions regarding these crossover characters and if there's any similarities you also noticed between them that I haven't mentioned in this video. And as always, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider hitting the like on the video itself, leaving a comment down below once again, as well as subscribing to the channel so you can go ahead and catch up on any other content that I might be doing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.